Three, two, one. Welcome to the first and probably only podcast with the Jimmies. So, how have you been? This is my first time speaking to you. I would shake your hand, but I wouldn't know how. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm not dead yet. Anyways, today's topic is how far has your literacy gone and what was difficult about it? Weird topic, but I'll answer it. So yeah, my literacy journey comes a long way. English is my first language, but I never understood why I wasn't really good at speaking it, you know? Do you think it's because you're dumb? I mean, no offense. Nonetheless. I thought of that, but no. I've just recently learned that the way you speak shouldn't determine how smart one is. Where I come from, my English wasn't as articulate as others. It was broken, right? I had a smaller vocabulary. The reason for this was because growing up speaking to my parents who barely knew English, I would speak broken English to them. I would have to speak a mixture language, a pidgin language. Because of that, I grew up not speaking the best English, and the only time I used academic English was when I was obviously in school, right? So, but whenever I do speak to my friends and family, I do speak with slang, a little bit of southern accent. I don't know why. It's just really comfortable for me to talk in. Yeah. So then why do you think the way you speak doesn't correlate to your literacy intelligence? Yeah, the way you speak does in a way determine how intelligent one is, but not exactly. When I was a freshman in high school, in my 9th grade English class, I wrote an essay for class, just the first essay of the year, and my teacher asked me if I wanted to switch to an accelerated class, right? And I was thinking to myself, should I or should I not? But in reality, I was not really fitting well with the kids in my class. I was really thinking to myself, I don't really want to be in an atmosphere where students don't really want to learn. So that's why I moved into the accelerated class. Yeah, and doing that, I basically moved on to other accelerated classes too as I went through high school. Interesting. So you took accelerated classes despite your lack of articulate academic English? I gotcha. That makes sense to me. I understand where you're coming from. Well, I think that's pretty impressive. Well, you make it sound like English came pretty easy to you when it was with written words. Did you ever have hard times in the classes, or do you think you were built differently? Yeah, no, I wish I was built differently too, but no. I had to work pretty hard just to stay average, if I'm being honest. And yeah, of course, I was challenged in those accelerated classes. Making essays was always hard for me, and reading in front of classes, it almost scared me, especially Shakespeare's. Yeah, but my junior year was a pretty tough year for me. I'd say it was one of my hardest years in high school. I took AP Comp and US History, which was pretty hard for me personally. So writing essays for those classes was scary, obviously, for me. And actually, I had really good grades for my essays in history class, but the thing was, I didn't get those same grades for my essays in my English class. I was wondering that. I didn't understand why I had worse grades in my English class than my history class for essays. It was mainly because in my history class, there was always one prompt I had to use for my history class. It was research type essay prompts, and I would always get a good grade. But then whenever I wrote for my English class, my essay grades were a little bit lower than I wanted it to be, right? But that's because I didn't know and I didn't realize that there were different essay prompts. And I learned more about it during my AP class, or the class of my junior year, because getting ready for my AP exam at the end of the year, you have to write 3 different types of essay prompts. And learning about the different types of essay prompts, I was starting to understand, that's why I got a worse grade on my essay than my history class, right? So I was really starting to think, that makes sense why there's different prompts and reasons why there are different prompts. So yeah, and actually on my AP exam, I scored a 3, which I didn't believe I could score any numbers at all because I thought I was just so dumb. But I scored a 3, which is basically your lowest or your minimum college credit you can get from an AP exam. But sadly I also have imposter syndrome, so like I really believe I don't deserve it and I got it out of luck. But luck is a skill. It seems like you really did work hard for your grades, so don't shoot yourself down. You should really be proud of yourself, Jimmy. But you're right, luck is a skill. Moving on though, have you faced any other essays other than academia English? Yeah, for when I'm making scholarship essays, I make the essays more thoughtful and personal and a lot more heavier vocabulary. My writing takes a change. I try to make my writing more passionate and personal and more alive than a regular essay. I've actually won 2 scholarships, the Wallen and the 3M UNCF scholarships. The 3M the Wallen scholarship is a $16K for 4 years scholarship. It targets students who have a lower income and also just students who want to become successful in the future, obviously. And the 3M UNCF basically targets the same as well, but it targets students who want to pursue STEAM or STEM. A in the extra STEAM is for aviation, and that's what I wrote my essay about, and I got the scholarship, so that's pretty amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. I don't mean to be weird, but I've also won those exact same ones. Man, I don't know. I didn't know you were this cool. I did not know. We should hang out after this podcast. So, tell me then, how is your literacy writing different from the way you speak? Yeah, so when I'm writing, I can change what I want to say and really think about what I want to put out. But when I speak, sometimes I lose my thought, or when I want to explain something quickly, I miss a lot of crucial details, and I speak with slang, so it may be harder to understand. I'm dumb. Anyways, my mouth also moves faster than my brain, so that's why my speech differs from the way I write. I see. So the way you speak differs from the way you write, and yeah, I can see why. Yeah, I tend to stutter a lot too and slur my words. I also have a softer, quieter voice, so it may be harder for me to portray any articulation when I speak. But otherwise, I feel like my vocabulary isn't really there too. But when I write, I can change smaller words into bigger, more sophisticated words. Yeah. The way I talk may seem like how lack intelligence others have when they speak standard academic English, but I just believe it's simply not true. Well, thank you so much for your time. I hope you continue this journey of finding yourself and keep on reflecting. Yeah, no, thank you for letting me come on to this podcast and listening to me. Well, here you go, folks. This was the first and last episodes of the Jimmies, and thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you, Jimmy, for coming out to this podcast. Who knows when I'll see you again. Talking to you was it's my pleasure. That wraps up this episode of the Jimmies. I hope to see you guys very, very soon.